these models, like, in the Bahamas.
The most insane festival the world has ever seen.
Island getaway turned disaster.
It became very barbaric.
Right now, we are the fucking laughing stock of everything.
Just wait until you see what you're getting yourselves into.
American rapper Ja Rule is in the Bahamas with his business partner,
Billy McFarlane
is an amazing entrepreneur.
He can convince anyone of pretty much anything.
They just bought an island.
Pablo Escobar's island. Oh my gosh.
Ding! We're gonna throw a festival, yeah.
Within 48 hours,
they sold out. These guys are either completely full of shit or they're the smartest guys in the room. We were working around the clock, no sleep.
Billy's like, bring more workers. We need more workers.
Every single day it got more tense.
He just would not take no for an answer. And he just kept pulling money in somehow.
Desperate people do desperate things.
He was lying to investors and making it seem like we were making a ton of money when we weren't.
I mean, that's fraud.
We need to get the messaging out now that this is not a luxury music festival.
Oh my God.
Right around.
There's mattresses all over the place getting soaked.
The save yourself mode kicked in.
Right, it's a free-for-all.
It became this looting mentality.
There's an angry mob, they're pissed off and they want their money.
powerful models built this festival. And then one picture of cheese on toast ripped down the festival.
They just couldn't physically fit that many people on the island.
The event's co-founder is facing up to 20 years in prison.
If you had thousands of dollars to go on a trip to see Blink 182, that's on you. That is Darwinism at its finest.
The biggest event in a decade, I promise you.
I'll be there.
This is what's happening in Beverly Hills. There's a yoga college of India, and the man who runs it is Yogi Bikram.
You've never really done yoga until you've done a Bikram class.
With millions in the bank and millions of followers, Bikram is doing something right.
People would say, what's he like? And I would say, he sees himself as a cross between Mother Teresa and Howard Stern.
He was a teacher who was gonna make me perfect.
He saw potential in you that you might not see. But he has a really ugly side.
He looked at me and said, suck that fat stomach in, I don't like to see the jiggle jiggle. Bikram was so good at getting inside of our brains.
I'm gonna sex with the last drop of blood you have.
How could smart women endure weeks with this guy?
I'd seen flashes of megalomania, but I didn't know how diabolical he actually was.
Don't look so sad. He kept telling me that he wanted to make me famous and that I just had to stay close with him.
That's why I am here. Bikram called me out of class and into his office, and he said, what are we gonna do about us? Should we make this a relationship? And it was just like, oh my God. I don't want to say that I was brainwashed, but that's what was happening.
There was a camp that was going to hang him by his nails. And there was a camp that was saying these girls asked for it.
It was really hard because I wouldn't be the person who I am today without him.
The young women who want to believe in something so badly, those are the people that he targets.
A lot of people tell a lot of stories and that becomes their truth.
I'm happy he's still teaching class.
You are not intelligent, wise, experienced enough to understand who I am.
It's not over.
We got him out of the car and cuffed him. I started hearing a beat. His eyes just got real wide.
A potential hostage sent into the bank with an explosive around their neck. Something like this had never happened before in the history of the FBI.
For being a small town, Erie has its share of bizarre events, but there is nothing that raised so many questions as this case.
The call was made to the pizza shop at 1:30. Brian Wells drove to the site where the pizzas were to be delivered.
The man told police that he was forced to rob the bank.
The FBI believe that whoever built the collar is patient and secretive.
Brian Wells said he was supposed to go on a scavenger hunt.
And he was supposed to go from point A to point B to point C, where the keys would be given him to release this bomb.
This made worldwide news.
The purpose of the pizza bomber plot? Money.
How could this happen? Who's the mastermind?
Please, what's your emergency?
There's a woman that you might want to question.
He's the one that did it. He and his co-conspirators.
There was a lot of tips coming in, but no smoking gun.
We didn't have DNA, fingerprints.
The bomb had wires that didn't mean anything to prevent the bomb squad from tampering with it.
Did you make the bomb?
No.
Liar!
It's a bank robbery, but it's a scavenger hunt. Guy has a cane gun, and it was actually loaded.
Who put this in motion?
I did nothing.
Who actually said, hey, let's rob a bank?
She laughed about it. She says, I got away with it.
Was Wells a victim or participant?
When you have a bomb up to your neck,
It became a diabolical game to them.
John Demjanjuk, he was a family man.
He was living the American dream. He was a good American citizen. Up until the government came along and said he was Ivan the Terrible.
Charges were filed today against John Demjanjuk. The 66-year-old Ukrainian native is accused of being a Nazi death camp guard named Ivan the Terrible.
The crimes that he was accused of were horrid.
The Israeli government is seeking his extradition as a war criminal.
And that's where the drama begins.
לא היית שמה, אני הייתי שם אותו! הוא יגיד לך מה.
На моїм серці, моє серце є чисте.
Once the survivors began to testify, it became a national obsession.
It was a zoo. There were news crews parked halfway down the street.
His wife couldn't believe what was going on.
We were looking at the fact that we may never see him again, and they're going to put him to death in Israel.
The Justice Department presented evidence right from the KGB.
I was sure that I would destroy the show.
There was something rotten going on.
My father's a very kind person, a very gentle person.
Are you sure you're not making a mistake?
Everybody in the courtroom went,
Demjanjuk could have been a monster or a victim of wrong identity. My deepest fear is that I think he can be anybody.
No one has allegedly murdered two people and then played an entire season as a professional athlete.
I can't wait to be free.
I'm Aaron Hernandez from Bristol, Connecticut. I play at Bristol Central High School.
Aaron Hernandez was a different level of athlete.
He was kind.
He wasn't someone who picked on other kids.
He's one of the best players in America. Get him the ball.
The Patriots reward him with a $40 million contract.
Aaron Hernandez was a ticking time bomb. The why is the story here.
He was out to prove something, like a tough guy all the time.
He had a second residence.
The flop house. He had trouble with drugs, with guns.
Aaron was absolutely operating on the edge.
New England Patriot Aaron Hernandez was arrested this morning at his residence.
Aaron was accused of murdering Odin Lloyd, his future brother-in-law.
How can an individual who has everything get involved in something like this?
I was the happiest little kid in the world, and you fucked me up.
I ain't living with that.
You did. I had nobody. What do you think I was gonna do? Become a perfect angel?
Aaron was extremely terrified of his father.
Violent outbursts were not uncommon in the Hernandez home.
Aaron had a history of concussion-related injuries.
At the drop of a hat, he became angry and violent.
He had everything and threw it all away.
We had to hide what we were. He was in such denial.
Aaron had reason to fear for his own life.
I wanted revenge.
None of it makes sense.
The story is not just the Aaron Hernandez story. There's a lot of lives affected by this guy.
Had to be shocked for all your teammates.
Next question. I'm gonna explode.
We are in Australia. News has just been given that I am hosting the Oscars.
I've talked to him a couple of times today. I mean, the first one was more of like a rehash on fuck did you do yesterday? The public perception is that he didn't want to apologize, therefore he is homophobic.
Do you regret, do you wish you had done something differently?
Okay, let's just stop it right here. Because before people judge and go, Kevin Hart's a dickhead, he's an asshole, I want you to understand that there's a lot that you don't know.
Do I think Kevin works himself too hard? No. I don't give a fuck if you're the highest grossing comedian in the world. Somebody's looking at you right now saying your time's gonna be up.
When you come from where I've come from, you're written off to a certain degree. You're not supposed to make it. You know, word on the street is this may be my best one.
Well, they damn sure ain't say your last one was your best one. A lot of people ain't like that. They said you could tell he got money because he ain't as funny as he used to be.
I'm talking about
hoes. Gotta learn from your fuck-ups.
Kevin was forced to complain about cheating on his wife, who was pregnant, by the way.
You publicly humiliated me. I just kept saying, how the fuck did you let that happen?
If everything stops there, you survive. When you're truly fucked up.
Shut up, bitch!
Some anger that you're holding on to. You're gonna let it out. These are the moments where you realize that you're nowhere near where you need to be.
This Kevin gonna act stupid for you for a while.
So that road to becoming the billionaire or the mogul, it's a long road, man. And you can think you got it all together. Something stupid can happen that can take it all away like that.
I'm talking about
The food industry is under full-scale assault. The crisis is global. More of us are wanting to know the source of the food we buy.
If you don't know what's in your food, get out of the business.
In the last 50 years, food has turned into a commodity to be traded like a stock or a bond.
With money to be had, there will always be fraud in the marketplace.
This has consequences beyond description.
What people don't realize is farmers are fading. You used to be able to be this big, happy family that stayed home together, that worked together all the time. That's not the case anymore.
We're aiding and abetting a massive act of theft. People should be concerned about this.
Get all the fish you want, you have no idea where it's coming from. Any of it frozen once, 2, 3, 4 times, all kinds of additives.
At your supermarket butcher, the parts from a single chicken will run you more than $7. To raise that bird, the grower was paid 36 cents.
The supply cannot meet the demand. Consumers are eating a product that is not honey.
Nearly half of food allergy deaths are caused by food from restaurants. Our bodies are rejecting the food we eat. And even the experts don't really know why.
There has to be someone that's willing to keep the fight alive.
This is all about making as big profits as possible.
This room, you're looking at $500,000.
Working hard isn't enough. Now you also have to work smart.
People will start to realize how wrong this is.
Are anybody's hands clean in this whole thing?
Nobody's hands are clean.
If you eat food, this is an issue you need to worry about.
Bill Gates, what's your favorite animal? Dog. What's your favorite food? Hamburger. What do you eat for breakfast?
Nothing.
What is your worst fear?
I don't want my brain to stop working.
Bill is a multi-processor. He'll be reading something else, but then processing at the same time. It's chaos. He thrives on complexity. He makes a framework in his mind, and then he starts slotting in the information.
If something doesn't line up and he gets really frustrated, it's scary.
But when Bill stills himself, he can pull ideas together that other people can't see.
At Microsoft, I worked night and day, and that was how I made sure Microsoft stayed ahead. I could be so extreme.
You never understood the first thing about this. Microsoft hit a new record high on Wall Street.
rivals paint a dark picture.
He'll do whatever he can to capture more of the market.
Our mother wanted him to focus on community and family.
I gave my mom a hard time not following what she wanted.
You don't raise a family hyper-focused in your head.
Each one of us has to start out with developing his or her own definition of success.
I had the wrong way of looking at things. In life, you have to decide what's important in the world. I will look at energy, climate change, and disease eradication. It's important that we start deploying solutions unnaturally fast.
We are running out of time here.
He tends to look at problems from unusual angles.
There hasn't been innovation in nuclear energy for 25 years.
What are the odds of getting the job done? If you want to make a dent in this, you better think in wholesale magnitudes.
He's at his best when the deck is stacked against him.
There's many challenges. This is harder than I expected.
Ultimately, it's not what you get. It's what...
The con man is a fixture of American life, and con man is short for confidence man. He preys upon people's confidence in them to deliver on their dreams, to deliver on their needs.
Volkswagen Clean Diesel.
HSBC.
The answer, Money Mutual.
Ripping off Wall Street is one thing. Ripping off Middle America is another thing.
The system takes our best and brightest people, and they get paid outlandish sums to look the other way.
It's hard to not be moved by the hardship that these companies impose.
The poster boy for hiking drug prices. This was Wall Street at its worst, funding a drug company at its worst.
It's not funny, Mr. Sorelli. People are dying, and they're getting sicker and sicker.
These banks, they move millions for the cartels.
The kidnappings, the extortion, the murders, all of that has to do with the money.
We may be looking at the largest systematic corporate fraud in history.
It is clear that there had been a frantic effort to cover this up. Individuals who purchase cars are victims. All of us who suffer from this extra pollution are victims.
To see such greed go unchecked was just maddening.
They make money by taking money from poor people.
I mean, this was little kids saying, "Mom, is everything going to be okay?"
What I would discover was much darker and more vast than anything I had imagined.
The amounts of money involved were massive.
Billions of dollars.
We didn't find anything they were doing that was illegal. And that's the thing that's startling about this.
When these companies become so important, they're a member of a class that is not jailable.
Do you think you're a moral person?
I'm a business person.
Are you ready? The internet is boundless. There's the happy places, and then there's another part of the internet, the seedy underbelly. I was on Facebook one day,
and then I found this video. I pressed play.
It was the worst video I've ever seen.
He needs to be stopped immediately.
People went nuts. So we started looking. He could have been anywhere on the planet.
This person wants to play a game of cat and mouse, and I'm up for that. There's a lot of information in the video. You see a door handle, electrical receptacles.
Everything pointed to North America. But then
you hear some voices.
It was Russian.
Oh, maybe he's located in Russia.
Thousands of people looking to find this guy. There was a tidal wave of leads that were coming in.
I wasn't gonna stop until I found him.
Clearly, this video is not the end.
Something bad is about to happen. He's gonna kill somebody. All of a sudden, another video appears. My mind doesn't want to believe it's true.
These are the things, the telltale sign of somebody that's going to become a serial killer.
We had a ticking time bomb on our hands.
Twisted story that keeps twisting.
What I'm seeing is impossible.
He's going to get the attention of the world now.
2 mysterious packages.
Le dépeceur de Montréal.
An international manhunt.
This isn't the first time. It's not going to be the last time. This is going to get progressively worse.
In the seedy underbelly of the internet, there's an unwritten rule, Rule 0. Don't fuck with cats.